In Google Classroom, you'll see under the Today tab that I have a task here called Resume Interview Project. This is the third thing you're going to work on today on Wednesday when I'm absent. However, this is going to be posted here just for the foreseeable future as you start working on completing this project, which is due December 8th. Today's focus, and the focus really through Thanksgiving and a little bit after, is just gathering ideas on your planning document. So that's really what I want you to focus on. In class, we talked about the importance of interviewing and public speaking. We watched a video that reviewed why this was important for middle schoolers. We talked about what a resume is and how it helps you get an interview, and then really what an interview is going to look like. So your task is to pretend that you are the protagonist in your book. And so as you read, I want you to continue thinking about how your character has developed through the story. What are the things that they've learned? How have they gotten better at things? Those are the kinds of skills you're going to put on your resume and interview questions. So I did link my example in Google Classroom so you could see what they look like as a finished product. But this is what yours is going to look like at the very, very end of this project. By the time on December 8th, this is what it's going to look like. For now, what I want you to focus on is this page in your notebook. We glued this in. I had you put the name of your character. When you start your interview, you're going to introduce yourself as the character in the title of your book. So I want you to put the title of your book, and we're going to italicize it, because that's what we do to book titles, by Charlotte Bronte. And you're going to put, what job do you think your character would do? So my character is obviously Jane Eyre, interviewing for a governess. Now, later on, when I go and write my actual final copy, I'll put all of this into a nice, descriptive, complete sentence. For this part, I'm just taking some notes. So don't worry about complete sentences, just get some ideas down. And so some different things that you're going to think about throughout the story, what are some of the different things that your character has done? So I could say, my character has been a teacher. And then I'm going to list some of the things that she's done or learned to do in order to be a teacher. She's a governess. She already has had this job. She's kind of acted a little bit like a maid at certain parts of the story. She's acted like a companion throughout the story. We said a companion is somebody who's hired to just keep somebody else company. And so then I'm going to think about what are the things that she's done in the story. Who does she teach? What does she teach? Where does she live as a governess, and what are her responsibilities there? What are some of the tasks that she's done that made her kind of like a maid? And who was she a companion to? And what did she do as a companion? Was she very good at it? And I'm going to take some notes here. If you can't use all of the boxes, that's fine. But I really want you to think outside of the box and add some details from your story. Again, this is going to take the place of doing an essay. This is going to be your evidence, your proof that you read and understood your book. So you're going to need some details here. If your character is a student in a school, then maybe your jobs are going to be the different classes she takes. So when I'm thinking like Sophronia, she takes a dancing class. Well, what does she learn in that dancing class? It's not how to dance. She's learning how to be a spy, how to be an assassin. So what does dancing have to do with being an assassin? She takes a chemistry class. So think about the different classes that she's taking and the things that she's learning in there. Okay, so then we're going to go down to where it says interview questions. It says answer the first required question. So everybody's going to do this job or this question. And then you can look at the other 3 questions and decide which one you want to do. For now, what I would do is take notes on all of these things for now. And whichever one you end up having the most detail on, that's probably the one that you should do your description for, or you should choose to do your interview question for. So if you end up with having a lot of notes in these two and not too much here, then just you won't end up having to do one at this one at the very, very end. Okay? So you can see the difference between the final product and the draft. So this is my notes. I just made some little bullet points of things that I did. You can see they're not in complete sentences. I wanted you to make sure that you're including evidence. So if I say my character's hardworking, I need some evidence that's going to back it up. Give me one example from the book that supports that. And then I listed some others. He helped Dr. Snow track down the virus. He took notes and recopied them. He made a map of where all the deaths happened. And all of these things would contribute to why he would be a good scientist assistant. For what does a typical day look like? I just kind of walked by almost every day. He got up in the morning and he went to the riverbanks. Then he went to the Lion Brewery where he did some errands. When I write this out later, it's going to be a lot more specific. It's going to be in complete sentences. I'm going to have more of a topic sentence to focus the paragraph, and it's going to end up looking something like this. So whereas before it was just little notes, I then take those notes and I write them into a paragraph that has good descriptive transitions in there. It's got some evidence. It's got some varied sentence structure. Same with what does a typical day look like? I write my sentences in I write my thoughts into complete sentences for my interview. So if you need some ideas on how to, what you're doing today, it should kind of look like this. And then we will work on, over the course of the next couple weeks after Thanksgiving, putting it into paragraph form. So don't worry about this yet. Just worry about getting your ideas down. And I would think that every time that you read, you're going to add some new detail to your chart as you read the next chapter. Maybe you find another conflict that they went through, or you find another job that they did, or they act in a certain way that you can add some description of their personality. If you have any questions, you can email me.